With violent crime continuing to rise in Canada, I continue to get questions about various self-defense options. So this week I want to do a bit of a review of one that a friend sent to me from a place called 416 Tactical, where they're advertising and recommending a thing called the Lancer Hornet. Hello, my name's Nicholas Wansbutter. I'm a lawyer in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to Don't Talk TV. Or I should say welcome back to Don't Talk TV. Unfortunately, we had to take last week off. I wasn't able to do my live episode. I was just way too sick. I think it was the second or third time in my 20-year career that I had to take time out of court due to illness. So it's not something that happens very often, but unfortunately, it just happened last week. So still got a little bit of it going on, but definitely on the mend. So we're back and talking about home self-defense. As I said, a friend sent me the video that I'll show it to you in a minute of this product called the Lancer Hornet. And we'll watch a bit of the video that this 416 Tactical put out and why they recommend it. And I'll respond to their recommendations and whether I think this is actually a good option for home self-defense in Canada.
Told you there was a highly recommended, less lethal product for home safety defense that you can use to protect you and your family for up to 30 meters away. I've been recommending this product called the Lancer Hornet to everyone who has come into our store, 416 Tactical Supply, asking for home defense options. This 43 caliber pistol shoots rubber balls at a high velocity using compressed air, CO2 cartridge, to fully propel the rounds with no blowback. The muzzle velocity of the Lancer Hornet is 362 feet per second. Now, to put that into perspective, to be considered a firearm in Canada, the muzzle velocity must be 500 feet per second and above. So it's not classified as a firearm, therefore you can possess it.
Okay, that's some terrible legal advice. You want to go with someone that looks like me and does my line of work for your legal advice, not someone who's selling firearms. Now, I mean, with all due respect, I appreciate firearm sellers. They're absolutely in tough with what's been done to them by our government, but they should educate themselves a bit better on the law. Three major massive problems I see with this, and you can probably already see where I'm saying massive problems. Let's cut right to the chase. I absolutely would never recommend anyone own this for home self-defense. Number one, because it's illegal to own anything for self-defense in Canada. I talk about this in much more detail in episode 41. I highly recommend you go and look at that. A lot of people get quite upset with me when I tell them that the law in Canada is that it's illegal to possess any item for self-defense, but I'm just a messenger. I in no way agree that that's the way the law should be. I'm just telling you that is the way the law is in Canada. So this lady is actually counseling an offense publicly by telling people to buy this item for the purpose of defending their homes. That is actually counseling the offense of possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose. That's one huge problem. Again, look at episode 41, and there's some good comments in the comment section too. Don't possess anything for self-defense. That said, you can possess things for other valid reasons, and then if you're under attack, repurpose that item to defend yourself with. So, for example, if you're into baseball, you're allowed to possess a baseball bat for when you go to play baseball. And if that's the only thing you have with which to defend yourself if you're ever attacked, well, you weren't possessing it for the purpose of self-defense. You're possessing it for the purpose of having a baseball bat in case you want to play baseball sometime. So definitely disagree with her and cannot recommend what she's saying there at all. Bigger problems with that video and with this item. She very confidently and boldly claims that this item isn't a firearm as defined by the criminal code. She's correct in one way, but very wrong in a very important way. She's correct in terms of the Firearms Act and licensing provisions. So correct, you don't need a possession acquisition license to possess something like that that has a muzzle velocity under 500 feet per second. However, the muzzle velocity that she described for that item absolutely would be considered a firearm if you were ever to use it. And you could be charged with careless use of a firearm, use of a firearm in the commission of an offense, discharge of a firearm if you were to use it. And we'll have a look here at a case from the Ontario Court of Appeal. Again, this is a situation of don't shoot the messenger. I personally think that this law is kind of ridiculous. Their definition of a firearm is so broad. I mean, the things that they're defining as firearms, I don't know how that's a firearm. I mean, I'd rather be shot by some of these things that they describe as firearms a million times before being shot by an actual firearm. But let's just look at the case and you'll see what I'm talking about quickly. So I've got on the screen here Her Majesty the Queen and Dunn, Ontario Court of Appeal decision from 2013. So this decision was looking at whether an air gun, I think it was a pellet gun because this is before airsoft, looking at whether a pellet gun counts as a firearm. So we'll just skip ahead to page 13 of the decision. I've got paragraph 40 highlighted here, and as always, link will be in the show description. And here we have it right here. To understand the scheme of the legislation, it's helpful to identify the different ways in which Parliament deals with barreled weapons. One way is by focusing on the capability of the object to cause serious bodily injury or death. The broad definition of firearm in Section 2 of the Criminal Code is any barreled weapon from which any shot, bullet, or other projectile can be discharged. So that's going to include rubber bullets, I mean, even like a Nerf projectile. I've seen some people promoting these pepper ball shooters. I mean, that's a whole other, I mean, what I'm saying in this video would apply to that, but there's also the fact that pepper spray or anything like pepper spray is a prohibited weapon in Canada. So, and that is capable of causing serious injury or death to a person, including any frame or receiver, etc. So what is something that's capable of causing serious bodily injury or death? Well, that's this pig's eye test that you see them referring to later in the paragraph. And a reference to 214 feet per second. So as I said, this Lancer Hornet thing, it's in the 300s, so it's way over 214 feet per second. It says, this is the so-called pig's eye test, which is a standard for determining the capabilities of a barreled object for causing serious death or bodily injury. The evidence was that if the velocity was 246 feet per second, the object would meet the V50 standard, which is the speed required for the projectile to penetrate the eye, the pig eye, 50% of the time. So as you can see, that's a pretty broad test. Basically, if you shoot a pig's eye at point blank range and you shoot it 10 times, or you say you have 10 pig's eyes, you shot each one of them. If 5 of those being shot at close range by the sight and were ruptured, now that's defined as something capable of causing serious bodily harm or death. So as I said, this Lancer Hornet thing, well above that 214 feet per second. Apparently 214 feet per second, that's the requirement. So I see pellet guns running afoul of this all the time. Airsoft guns, I mean, that's why you wear goggles when you're playing these games. But that's the second reason I would absolutely not recommend this thing. Maybe counted as a firearm. So that brings me to my third point. If you're going to defend yourself with something, defend yourself with something that's legal to possess in the first place, which is going to depend on your purpose for possessing it. But also, I mean, if you're in that extremity where someone's attacking you and your family, you want to make sure that you're effective. I don't want to be shooting someone with some rubber bullet thing and them just getting mad and coming and beating me to death or stabbing me or shooting me with what they have. You're gonna go down anyway. The police are gonna charge you with use of a firearm anyway. Might as well use an actual firearm if you own one. And they're more legally obtainable and possessible, if I could use that terminology, because there's all kinds of purposes other than self-defense that you can own a firearm for. Hunting, sport shooting, even though it's a bit of a dying sport, or you're just possessing it because you used to own it for sport shooting and you're not allowed to do anything else with it. So you're possessing it, either waiting for the police to take it, buy it back from you, or for the laws to change, none of which is for the purpose of self-defense, and therefore not illegal. And as I say, if you're going to go down for a firearms charge anyway, I think you're probably going to be sleeping much better knowing that you really defended your family, because someone's not going to just get angry and come and beat you to death if you shoot them with a firearm, most likely. Whereas I think you shoot them with that Lancer Hornet thing, that's what's probably going to happen. So for those reasons, I absolutely would not recommend that item. I think the people at 416 Tactical, I understand they've got to try and make a business some way, but they are giving it horrible, horrible advice in that video. Please disregard it. But of course, this video isn't legal advice. If you need legal advice, you need to speak to a lawyer for specific advice tailored to your situation. If you want me to be that lawyer, my contact information is being listed below. Also, we're always open to show topic recommendations or questions. That's how this video came about, by way of a question. Friends sent me that video and asked me what my thoughts were. So if you have a question, leave a comment in the comment section or send an email to the email address listed below. And if you found this video at all interesting, helpful, or informative, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and following us on social media.